And we'll start with MP Howland, please.
It'll be MP Chambers.
Thank you.
Thank
you very much, Mr. Chair. Minister, you and I will agree on one thing. I think the officials at Finance are the absolute best in the entire public service. Very, very capable folks. And I appreciate your appearance earlier on C-59, and I'm going to try to bring the subs and the C-59 together a little bit, so if you'll indulge me. How many FTEs people will we hire as a result of C-59?
Thank you for the question, and it gives me an opportunity to highlight the work of Treasury Board and my colleague Anita Anand on bringing into action our refocused government spending initiative. I agree with you about the excellence of finance officials and the importance of a strong and effective public service. I also agree that it's important to be sure that we are carefully reviewing government spending, including on our public service, and that we're sure that it is effective. And that's why this exercise has been so important, and it's making a difference.
So I don't think you know, and that's okay. But every financial piece of legislation that's been sent to this committee, including all the budgets, we ask the same question: how many FTEs will be hired as a result? The departmental spending plans that are released every year consistently show that in the following year, full-time equivalents will drop by about 2% every year, except when that year ends and we get the updated report, in fact, FTEs have gone up. I'm not really sure, maybe it's Treasury Board issue or finance issue. It doesn't really seem like anyone's paying attention to a people plan, because every year we go up when the government's projections have gone down. And we see this in the underused housing tax. The underused housing tax, we thought, or you projected, would bring in $200 million a year in the first year, then $170 million every year thereafter. The numbers are in. Since 2022, the government spent $59 million in administration, including hiring 350 people. It has assessed only $49 million in penalties. That's assessed, not collected. In fact, it hasn't even started collecting any money yet. How has the government's projections been so far off on the underused housing tax?
Okay, there's a lot of different things mushed together there, but let me make some key points that matter for Canadians. First of all, I do actually share what seems to be your point, that it is important for government to be effective. And that's why our exercise in refocusing government spending for a total of $15 billion is a really important exercise, because it's important to show Canadians we are careful, and we think it is important to be sure that money is spent where it can be have the greatest impact for Canadians, for example, on things like dental care. Now, when it comes to our numbers and our projections, I made a commitment in the fall economic statement to hit some specific fiscal guide rails, and I will live by that commitment. Today is not the day that we're presenting the budget, but we are going to hit those guide rails. And just a final point here, I'm glad to hear you, Mr. Chambers, being keen for the government to raise more revenue.
Well, I'm actually asking,
you and Mr. Blakey
Minister,
and I seem to agree that we need to have sufficient revenue to fund the things Canadians need.
Is it a good deal for taxpayers to spend $59 million in administration to collect far less than $59 million? Is that a good deal?
What I wonder is the Conservative Party now advocating for there to be empty homes all across Canada at a time when we have a housing crisis? Our government believes homes are for Canadians to live in. We are working hard to have more homes built faster, and we're also working hard to be sure
Thank you
that
very
homes
much.
are not a financial asset.
Thank you very
They're
much,
for Canadians to
Minister.
live in. No, thank
you very much,
you
Minister.
for making clear that the
We are
Conservative Party
advocating-
doesn't actually care about whether homes are for Canadians to live in. Does the Conservative Party not care if there are vacant
Thank you,
properties
Minister.
across the
We're
country
actually
while
advocating
people
for some
need
common
homes?
sense, and it
I
doesn't
guess
sound
you're
like a very
advocating
good
for
deal for
not
taxpayers.
caring for people
But
to be housed.
let's move on, shall we? Let's move on.
I can see why you would want to.
Miss
Yes.
Miss Andre Lise Methot was appointed to the Infrastructure Bank by yourself in December 2022. You're well aware of the governance issues at SDTC, on which she was a board member. Just late last year, Ms. Methot admitted that she was on the board and present when money was approved to go to 4 companies in which she held a financial interest. I'm just curious, why is this the kind of ethical standard that you expect your board members that you appoint? And have you asked her for a clarification or to maybe resign her position from the Infrastructure Bank?
What we have seen consistently from the Conservatives is an attack on efforts by our government to drive investments into the Canadian economy, investments made
Minister,
by the
someone admitted
Infrastructure
to a
Bank,
very serious ethical
investments
breach
made
and a conflict of
through our
interest.
ITCs, and it would be great to see the Conservatives get behind
Minister,
these measures that
someone
will
had
create
admitted,
jobs
someone has
and
admitted to a
growth.
very serious ethical breach and a conflict of interest, who now is still on the board of the Infrastructure Bank and reports to you. You appointed that person. Do you still have confidence in her to perform her duties well?
Our government has been very clear about SDTC and the fact that what
so
we
you have
saw
confidence in the-
happening there was unacceptable, and our government has taken action.
So you
Thank
still have
MP
confidence in Ms.
Chambers.
Methot?
Thank you, Minister.